Hey guys, today I want to talk about one of my greatest inspirations in life, in music, in imagination and creativity, in optimism, just an all-around inspiration to me. And I feel like I should share with you him today. So, he was a guitarist in the late 80s known as Jason Becker. Jason Becker was one of the most critically acclaimed rock guitarists in the world. He was a virtuosic performer, rivaling the talents of many modern guitarists such as Steve Vai, Joe Satriani, Yngwie J. Malmsteen, the list goes on. When he was 5 years old, Jason's father gave him his first guitar, and he never put it down. At 13, he could play note for note with the best.
I gave him the opportunity, but he had that himself inside. You can't get that. You can't buy it. You either have it and want it and stuff. So he had examples, but the fire was within.
In high school, Jason met Marty Friedman, the soon-to-be guitarist from Megadeth. When they were both 17, they released 2 instrumental guitar albums. The world started to recognize their talent as being one of the best guitar duos in the world. The complex writing, the emotional playing, the awe-inspiring moments, they had it all. It was a guitarist's holy grail. This home video from a gig in Japan shows Jason's trademark, playing guitar with one hand and yo-yoing with the other.
He was able to do things technically that no one's ever been able to do. Every great guitar player that's seen Jason just, he's awe-inspiring.
In 1990, when Jason was just 19, he was offered to play with David Lee Roth from Van Halen and helped him write his gold record, A Little Late Enough. That same year though, Jason was complaining about a leg problem, that his leg was kind of bothering him.
He just had been limping for a while, and we finally talked him into getting it checked out at Kaiser in LA when he was there, and that's when all the trouble started.
He was diagnosed with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. It's the same disease that world-renowned physicist Stephen Hawking has. It's a neuromuscular condition that would slowly take away Jason's ability to move his body.
Eventually needed crutches, then a wheelchair. Then it just got to where, he dropped the guitar, he couldn't even hang on to it.
When he was really sick, he was really thin and really pale. It was a different person.
It never surprised me that if there was a way to keep making music, he would.
His mind frame was, well, no, I just gotta have stuff to do, so I just have to go do it.
Him and his producer, Mike Beamerzurfer, adapted a program which Jason could write in the notes one note at a time using a visor. When he moved his head, the sensor would move the cursor on the screen, and when he opened his mouth, his chin would click the mouse. I find it awe-inspiring that he managed to write an entire album's worth of music, one note, one part of a time into the computer. After 5 years of painstaking work, Jason hired musicians to perform his music for him, and released an album called Perspective. When he was diagnosed with ALS, Jason's doctors only gave him 3 to 5 years to live. But to this day, Jason is still going strong.
I've read his fan mail over the years, and he's an inspiration to a lot of people, including a lot of people that have said, gee, I felt like committing suicide, but when I read about you, I'm going back and living my life.
When Jason could no longer speak and had a tube inserted into his throat to help him breathe, his dad was feared that he wouldn't be able to communicate with him anymore.
Hey, I was totally afraid to not be able to communicate with him. There's so many things he needs, if nothing else, to alleviate pain he might have.
Jason's father devised a communication system using an alphabet board and simple eye movements. Now Jason could just spell out his thoughts with his eyes. Here's an interview being interpreted by his ex-girlfriend Serena.
Do you hear new music in your head still?
S, O, so, M, so much, I, T, it, D, R, drives me nuts.
I consider him to be at a composer level, not just like, dude, he's an awesome shredder, man. I consider him to be at a Beethoven or Bach status. I think he could have been a true contemporary composer. But a good thing is, Jason's condition is actually stable. He hasn't gone any worse, but sadly he hasn't gone any better. He's also producing a film at the moment, all about his life and how he keeps going and basically what happened. If you really fancy seeing an inspirational film, go check it out. It'll be out soon. I'm uploading this on July 22nd. Today is Jason's birthday, so if you'd like, I've left some links in the description where you can just wish him a happy birthday if you want to, if you want to get in contact with him. If you haven't listened to any of Jason's music yet, I recommend. Some of it's on YouTube, but you can find it relatively cheap to listen to, and it is well worth investing to. It is, if you're a fan of guitar music, classical music, the blues, any kind of music, I think, anything where you can appreciate complex and imaginative and beautiful music, I recommend listening to Jason, because he's got a heart as big as all outdoors. He's the most creative, inspiring, positive, optimistic soul I think you'll ever hear. So yeah, that's one of my big inspirations, Jason Becker. My name's AstraVex, and Jason is the man.
Are you sure? Okay. Do you know this already? Oh. Do you want to know it? What? Oh, you're not a guitarist. That's cool. How many people aren't guitarists? That's wild. That's really cool. It's funny because I go to shows and I do the same thing all guitar players do. I sit there with my arms crossed and just watch. But when I'm playing a show, I hate those guys. Fuck, get out or have fun, you know?